My husband served me divorce papers after finding a burner phone in my car. He had no idea it was planted by the woman sleeping on our couch. I, 29F, always thought I had the kind of marriage that people wrote books about. My husband, David, 31M, and I have been together for 5 years, married for 3. We were the couple that everyone said was boring in the best possible way. We rarely fought, we laughed constantly, and we were currently saving up to start trying for a baby next year. Our life was quiet, stable, and happy. The trouble started 3 months ago when my childhood best friend, Sarah, 29F, showed up at our door in tears at 11 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday. She told us a sob story about her landlord selling her building and evicting her with zero notice. Sarah has always been a bit chaotic. She can't hold down a job for more than 6 months. She has terrible taste in men, and she's always in some kind of drama. But she's like a sister to me. We grew up on the same street. I didn't even ask David. I just hugged her and told her she could stay in our guest room until she got back on her feet. David was hesitant. He's an accountant, very structured, very private, and very protective of our space. Sarah is loud, messy, and has zero boundaries. But he agreed because he knew how much I loved her. 2 weeks, David had whispered to me that night in bed. Maximum a month. I promise, I said. She just needs a break. For the first few weeks, things were actually okay. Sarah was helpful. She cooked dinner occasionally, walked our dog, Buster, and even started organizing our closets. But looking back, I see the red flags I missed because I was too busy trying to be a good friend. It started small. Sarah went to the salon and dyed her blonde hair a rich chestnut brown, the exact same shade as mine. Then, she started buying clothes that were identical to mine. I'd come home with a new beige cardigan, and 2 days later, Sarah would be wearing the knockoff version. When I joked about us looking like twins, she just laughed and said, "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?" She also started waiting up for David. I work as a nurse, so my shifts are long and sometimes I get home late. I'd walk in at 9 p.m. and find Sarah and David laughing on the couch, watching our shows. She would be sitting just a little too close to him. David never seemed to notice. He's oblivious to that kind of thing, but it gave me a weird feeling in my stomach. 2 weeks ago, everything exploded. I came home from a particularly brutal 12-hour shift. I was exhausted, smelling like hospital disinfectant, and just wanted a hot shower. I walked through the front door expecting the usual smell of dinner or the sound of the TV. Instead, I walked into a funeral. David was sitting at the kitchen table. The lights were off, except for the harsh glow of the overhead pendant. His face was gray, like all the blood had been drained out of him. Sarah was sitting across from him, holding his hand with both of hers, looking incredibly solemn. On the table between them sat a cheap, black prepaid flip phone, a burner. "David?" I asked, dropping my keys on the counter. The sound echoed in the silent house. "What's wrong? Did someone die?" David looked up, and the look in his eyes almost knocked me over. It wasn't sadness. It was pure, unadulterated hatred. He didn't speak. He just slid the phone across the table toward me. "Unlock it," he said. His voice was terrifyingly quiet. I don't know the code," I stammered, looking at the cheap plastic device. "Is this yours?" "It was in your glove box, Elena," David spat, standing up. "Under the owner's manual. Sarah found it when she was looking for your insurance card to borrow the car for groceries." I looked at Sarah. She wouldn't meet my eyes. She was staring at the table, looking like a kicked puppy. "I'm so sorry, Elle," she whispered, her voice trembling. I didn't want to believe it. I told him there had to be a mistake. Believe what? I felt like I was in a fever dream. I've never seen that phone in my life. David grabbed the phone back and punched in a code, 1234. He opened the messages and started reading them out loud. Tuesday, 10 p.m. He's finally asleep. I wish I was with you. Thursday, 9 a.m. He's so boring. I can't wait to leave him and take half the money. Saturday, 11 p.m. Meet me at the motel on 4th. I need a real man. The texts were graphic. Explicit. They were sent to a contact named Loverboy. And they were dated over the last 2 months, perfectly coinciding with nights I worked late. I never wrote those. I screamed, my hands shaking. I don't even know that phone. Check the number. Call it right now. We did, David said, his voice cracking. It goes to a voicemail set up with your voice, Elena. Hi, it's Elle. Leave a message. My blood ran cold. I hadn't recorded a voicemail greeting like that in years, but if someone had a recording of my voice. David, please, I begged, reaching for him. This is insane. I love you. I go to work and I come home to you. Why would I do this? Who is doing this? The texts correspond to your late nights at the hospital, David yelled. He threw the phone against the wall. It shattered into pieces. Stop lying. The evidence is literally right there. I'm not lying. Get out, he said. What? Get out of my house, he screamed. I'm contacting a divorce lawyer tomorrow. Sarah told me everything. She didn't want to hurt you, but she couldn't let me live a lie anymore. I looked at Sarah. She finally looked up, and for a split second, the sad mask slipped. She looked triumphant. I told him about the guy I saw dropping you off last week, Sarah said, her voice trembling with fake emotion. The guy in the black Audi. I didn't want to say anything, but when I found the phone, I knew I had to tell him. There was no Audi. I shouted. I take the bus when you borrow my car. You know that. It didn't matter. David was deaf to my pleas. He threw a suitcase at me that he had already packed. He physically ushered me out the door and locked it behind me. I stood on my own front porch, sobbing in the rain, while Sarah watched from the living room window. She closed the curtains, shutting me out of my own life. I checked into a cheap motel 3 miles away. It smelled like stale smoke and despair. I spent the first 2 days just crying. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I called David 50 times. He blocked my number. I called his parents. They told me I was a disgrace and hung up on me. My life was incinerated in the span of an hour. By the 3rd day, the shock wore off and the rage set in. I knew I hadn't cheated, which meant someone went to elaborate lengths to frame me. The burner phone was in my glove box. Sarah found it. Sarah saw a guy in an Audi. Sarah knew the passcode to the burner. It had to be Sarah. But why? And how did she record my voicemail? Then it hit me. My car. I drive a newer SUV that I bought you 6 months ago. The previous owner was a tech guy who had installed a high-end, 360-degree security system. It had cameras facing the road, but also a cabin camera that recorded the interior. It uploaded everything to a cloud server. I never really checked it, it was just there for insurance discounts, but I paid the subscription every month. I opened my laptop on the stained motel bedspread. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely type my password. I logged into the security dashboard. I scrolled back to the day Sarah found the phone. There it was. Tuesday, 2 p.m. The footage showed Sarah getting into the driver's seat. But she wasn't going anywhere. She sat there for 10 minutes. I watched as she pulled a black flip phone out of her pocket. She spent a few minutes typing on it, probably sending those fake texts to populate the history. Then, she opened the glove box, tucked it under the manual, and smiled. It was a chilling, cold smile. She looked right at the rearview mirror to fix her lipstick, checking her teeth, not realizing the tiny camera lens was right above the mirror. But that wasn't all. I scrolled back further. 2 weeks ago. The footage showed Sarah sitting in my car again. This time, she wasn't alone. She was with a man. I turned up the audio. He's totally buying it, the man said. I recognized the voice immediately. It was Mark, Sarah's toxic ex-boyfriend who she claimed she hadn't seen in 5 years. He's an idiot, Sarah laughed. It was a cruel, mocking sound. He's so lonely, even when she's there. He likes that I cook for him. Once she's gone, I'll be the shoulder to cry on. Give it a month and I'll be sleeping in the master bedroom. The house is worth $500,000, Mark. $500,000. We just need to get her out. And the recording? Mark asked. Done, Sarah said, holding up a voice recorder. I recorded her on the phone with her mom yesterday. I spliced the "hi, it's Elle" part perfectly. He won't know the difference. I felt sick. Physically ill. She wasn't just jealous, she was trying to steal my husband and my home for money. She was planning to marry him, divorce him later, and take half the equity. I downloaded everything. Every clip. Every conversation. I backed it up to 3 different drives. I didn't call David. He wouldn't answer anyway. I needed a face-to-face. I knew David's schedule. On Friday nights, he orders Thai food from the place down the street. I knew Sarah would be there, playing the comforting friend, probably eating my pad Thai, sitting in my spot. I drove to the house at 7 p.m. on Friday. I used my spare key, which David forgot to ask for in his rage. I walked in quietly. They were in the living room. Sarah was sitting right next to him on the sofa, her hand on his knee, whispering something in his ear. She was wearing my favorite gray cashmere sweater. They both jumped up when I walked in. "I told you to leave," David shouted, his face turning red. "I'm calling the police." "You are trespassing." "Call them," I said calmly. My voice didn't shake this time. "I'd love to show them the evidence of fraud, conspiracy, and identity theft I have on this flash drive." I walked over to the smart TV. "You didn't want to listen to me, David. You trusted her over me after 3 years of marriage. That hurts more than anything. But I'm not going to let you ruin your life for a con artist." I plugged the USB into the side of the TV. "Elena, stop it," Sarah said, standing up. Her voice was high-pitched and panic-stricken. "David, don't let her manipulate you. She's desperate. She forged this." "Sit down, Sarah," I snapped. "And shut up." I pressed play. The video filled the 65-inch screen. It was crystal clear 4K resolution. We watched Sarah sitting in the car, planting the phone. We watched her typing the fake texts. We watched her fixing her hair and practicing her sad face in the rearview mirror before getting out to find the phone. David went silent. He sank back onto the sofa, his mouth slightly open. Then the audio played. The conversation with Mark. "He's an idiot. Once she's gone, I'll be the shoulder to cry on. The house is worth $500,000. The color drained from Sarah's face. She looked like a ghost. David stared at the screen, then slowly turned his head to look at Sarah. The betrayal on his face was different this time. It wasn't the hot, reactive anger he had for me. It was cold, horrified realization. "You," David whispered. "You wore her clothes. You cooked her recipes. You planted the phone." "David, it's deep fake," Sarah screamed, backing away toward the kitchen. "She made it on a computer. You know how tech-savvy she is. It's AI. It's the dash cam, Sarah," I said. "The one you forgot about because you're too busy staring at yourself in the mirror." David stood up. He looked at Sarah, then at the sweater she was wearing. "Take it off," he said. "What?" Sarah stammered. "My wife's sweater," David roared, his voice shaking the walls. "Take it off and get out of my house before I kill you." Sarah scrambled. She didn't take the sweater off. She just grabbed her purse and ran for the door. We heard her car peel out of the driveway a moment later. The silence in the living room was deafening. David stood there, breathing heavy, staring at the paused image of Sarah on the TV. Then he looked at me. He started to cry. Not a little cry, a breakdown. He felt his knees on the rug. "Elena," he sobbed, reaching out toward me. "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid. Please." I didn't know. She was so convincing. I looked at him, the man I loved, on his knees, begging. A week ago, I would have rushed to comfort him. I would have held him and told him we would fix it. But I couldn't move. I remembered the look in his eyes when he threw the suitcase at me. I remembered him blocking my number. I remembered him believing a burnout friend over his wife of 3 years without a single second of hesitation. He didn't ask for an explanation. He just wanted me gone. "You didn't even ask me, David," I said quietly. "You didn't verify anything. You just threw me away." I was hurt, he pleaded, tears streaming down his face. I was jealous. "I love you so much it made me crazy." "That's not love," I said, stepping back. "That's possession. And I can't trust you anymore. If you loved me, you would have known I would never do that." I walked past him to the bedroom. I packed the rest of my things, the things he hadn't thrown in the first suitcase. I took the dog, Buster, who was cowering in the corner. David followed me around the house, crying, apologizing, promising therapy, promising to sue Sarah, promising to sign the house over to me. I walked to the door. I'm going to stay at my parents' house for a while, I told him. Do not contact me unless it's through a lawyer. I need time. Are you divorcing me? He asked, his voice breaking. I don't know, I said. But I know I can't sleep in this house tonight. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm currently living with my parents. David sends flowers every day. He sent me a screenshot showing he filed a restraining order against Sarah and is pressing charges for harassment and fraud. Sarah is apparently living in her car. Mark blocked her number now that the scheme failed. Everyone tells me I should forgive David. They say he was a victim of a master manipulator too. And maybe he was. But every time I close my eyes, I see him handing me that phone with hatred in his eyes. I realized that our marriage wasn't built on trust. It was built on comfort. And the second that comfort was threatened, he turned on me. I haven't signed the divorce papers yet. But I haven't gone home either. I saved my reputation, but I'm not sure if I saved my marriage. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to.